Hi guys, hope you've had a beautiful morning so far. Today we will be sharing 4 top meditation and breathing tips to enhance your everyday life. You know, life is busy and stressful, and on any given day we can be presented with countless challenges that we have to face and overcome. You know, we can't always control the outside forces in our lives, but for certain, one thing that we can control is our internal ones. You know, meditation. Got a question for you. You know, what's your thoughts about it? You know, for many people, it's one of those things that we hear about, speak, and know enough about, however, rarely, if ever, put into practice. You know, the benefits it actually gives us when we practice on a daily basis are unprecedented. From that perspective, that's what we're here to talk about today. You know, have you ever heard about the saying, work smarter, not harder? Well, meditation can actually help you do that and enhance the overall quality of your life so you can be happier, healthier, and just be the best version of yourself for you, your children, your family, friends, colleagues, and associates. So today we are joined by our very special guest, Kim Norton. She's founder of Rainbow Light Therapies. Kim is a holistic counsellor specialising in stress and anxiety management for children, teens and adults. Kim provides a unique, intuitive and individualised therapy approach to stress management through individual, small group and family sessions and workshops, and has begun doing so since her son's autism diagnosis in 2007. Kim also works with a lot of special needs children and their families and is an NDIS registered provider. And above all of that is just a beautiful, beautiful human being, and we love her to bits. How are you doing, Kim?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that lovely intro.
Well, as always, we're really honoured to have you, and for everybody watching, Kim's one of our partners here at Kiddipedia. Now, we've published 2 of your articles that are frog in my throat. Sorry, are 2 interconnected topics, and the topics of the articles are Just Breathe and On Meditation for Stress Management. So we've got 4 key questions that we're going to be covering off today. Before we get stuck into those, can you give us a little bit of an overview of the 2 articles, why you wrote them and what inspired you, and what they're about?
Okay. So the main objective for the articles was just to let people know that anybody can meditate. Okay. It's not about sitting in the lotus position on your lovely mandala rug, doing your hand mudras and chanting Om. Okay. So we are all meditating every day, whether we understand that or not. And hopefully these articles will help you to acknowledge that. Usually when we're doing something really boring and mundane, like washing the dishes or cleaning the toilet, and we just let our mind wander and just let those thoughts come up, acknowledge those thoughts and let those thoughts go away, that is a meditation in itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Breathing or breath work is a really good place to start, because we're all breathing. Okay. Even special needs kids understand that fact that, okay, we're breathing. So that's that's something tangible for them to start with as well.
Yeah. And well, let's get stuck into the key questions, because there's so much to talk about, and I think everything elaborates from these. Yep. So question number 1 we have is, you know, what are the benefits of meditation?
Okay. So there are countless studies, and there are more and more studies being done every single day, and it's becoming a lot more acceptable, meditation as part of just everyday life. So the benefits are, it improves focus, it improves concentration, it improves just your general well-being, it improves relationships, it helps you to make decisions, and obviously, of course, it's relaxing, okay? And it's tapping into that intuitive side of yourself as well, so you can actually hear your own thoughts and what's going on in everyday life, rather than just 100 miles an hour, go, 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 go.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a lot more overseas and here in Australia that meditation is brought into early education centres and schools. So the benefit of children seem like it's unprecedented also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of talk around mindfulness at the moment,
yes.
And that seems to be being used increasingly in schools, which is great, because mindfulness does help keep you in that moment. I do use that as one of my strategies, but we also go a little bit further and not just think about what's happening in the moment, but then going on to the next step and dealing with the issue that arises in that moment.
So in your experience, I guess, with you, the families, the children and the adults that you work with, have you seen the transition when you've had and I guess sort of referred families and children to start practicing meditation, the changes in their life from A to B?
Definitely. There are. It just brings on a sense of calm. Okay. So, your typical nighttime dinner rush, you've got mum with the 3 kids and the kids aren't eating and she's getting angry and she doesn't know what to do. And you just stop and concentrate on your breath for a minute. And then she's able to turn around and have that conversation with the children without arguing and getting really upset and everyone losing their cool. And then the whole family suffers.
Yeah, I see it in such a way that I guess the stresses in our life, which I said earlier on in the intro, that we can't control any of those forces, but they cause like a cloudiness and a fuzziness around our thoughts that sort of, sort of just have us frustrated and all of that anxiety and all that negative stuff. But sort of meditation sort of peels all of that back and you actually get to see things the way that they are, and you actually get to appreciate the beauty in our life, the love and everything that we actually have, and yeah, just the world for the beauty that it is. Would you say that sort of maybe that's what meditation really is?
Definitely, and you've hit it on the head there. It just brings about that clarity. Yeah. So it helps us to react to our environment in a more conscious way.
And it gives a sense of perspective, I think, also with your life. And I find that when I sort of, I've got a meditation altar next to the bed at home, and it's one of those things that when practiced often enough, it really gives perspective. Little things that may annoy you on a day-to-day basis when you're practicing meditation on a day-to-day basis become like small things don't matter, like that will usually annoy you type of thing. You sort of, as I said, it puts everything into perspective. Do you find that?
Definitely. Don't sweat the small stuff.
That's it.
There's
exactly.
enough to stress about and worry about. So yeah, it really does put things into perspective and allows you to do that. Yes. For sure.
Yeah. Well, let's get stuck into question number 2. What are the different types of meditation that we can practice? I guess this is both for adults and for children.
Sure. Okay, so there is an endless list. Breath work is one. There is guided meditation, which it's like listening to a story or a storybook for the kids, or listening to someone speak and taking you on a journey to a different place. So those guided meditations in themselves have hundreds and hundreds of different types of meditations where you can work on your chakras, you can work on relationships, you can work on different fears, different phobias. To give up smoking, it's a whole type of sort of hypnotherapy type meditation as well.
Yeah.
There's sound bath meditations where you can meditate to singing bowls. I don't know if you've seen singing bowls or heard about singing bowls, or even people's voices are used as a sound bath meditation as well. There is yoga meditations. There's a lot of meditations that are belong to each different type of yoga. Yeah, so in layman's terms, yoga is a little bit like it's like karate. There's so many different varieties, even though it's still yoga.
Yes.
It's still karate. Yeah, lots of different flavors, and each one has its own meditation to go with that. So they're the main ones I think that most people would know about or would have at least heard about and practice. And mindfulness, of course, we've already spoken about that one.
Yeah, because in the article you give us 3 examples of the different types. I'd love to know of them which ones are, I guess, the most beneficial, for children. So mindfulness, and what people generally sort of describe as mindfulness, it means maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts and feelings, our bodily sensations and surrounding environment through a gentle and nurturing lens. Would you say that's the best of a description of what mindfulness actually is?
It is, definitely. And especially for our kids who suffer from stress and anxiety, it is a good place to start. Okay. It's not, for me, and in my opinion, and the kids that I work with, it's only one of the strategies we use, because we still have to deal with those fears or those phobias or those stresses that they have.
Yeah.
And mindfulness is one strategy. So in layman's terms, stress is what we are experiencing at the moment. Anxiety is the future.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So mindfulness is great for stress. but other strategies on top of that are better for anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess when we practice mindfulness, we tune our thoughts into what we're sensing in the present moment rather than rehashing the past or imagining the future. And that's what you're saying. So stress and anxiety are things that are either in the past or in the future, but mindfulness is saying, but this is the present moment. Would you say that's the right way to describe it?
Yes. So stress is the present moment and
Yep.
mindfulness is for that. Okay?
Yes.
But we still have the anxieties that we need to deal with on top of that, which is where the guided meditation for sleep can come in handy, and other types of meditations and other strategies
As well. And in the, you speak about mindfulness games for children, and there's an article that we've published previously. There was 3 different games for children as well, mindfulness games you mentioned, which is I Spy with a Twist, Guess Who, and Blindfold Betty. And for everyone watching, you can actually access this article by reading, and they sort of click through and interconnect. But there's obviously some really good games for children that help practice mindfulness. Do you think?
Definitely, and it's just use your imagination. There are so many things you can do in the doctor's waiting room, in the car on the way to school, even while they're getting dressed. I mean, mindfulness, like you said, is all about being in the moment. So let's make a game of, who can put their shoes on first, who can put their socks on first, who can get dressed first, whatever, and then
In the present moment.
Yes, instead of giving them 10 different instructions, okay, now go to your room and do this, and then do this, then we'll have breakfast, then we'll da 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 da. That just doesn't work with kids with high stress anxiety. So let's put our shoes on, let's have our breakfast, make a game out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, and there's health benefits to it too, because mindfulness can help relieve stress, treat heart disease, lower blood pressure, reduce chronic pain, improve sleep, alleviate gastrointestinal difficulties. So it's not just it's a woo-woo thing. It's one of those things that naturally that we mind, body, and soul benefit from that overall.
Exactly. And there's more and more studies and more evidence coming out to support that.
Yep.
And most of our kids and most of us as human beings, we hold our stress and our anxiety in our stomach. So when a child says to you, I feel sick, it's quite often because they're stressed.
Yeah.
It's like a code word for, because they don't know how to say they're stressed. Because they might not actually know what they're stressed about. They just know they don't feel right.
Yeah. And the other one that you speak about in the article is the guided meditations. And you speak about in the article saying it's a great exercise to teach our children some emotional regulation, as it enables them to realise what their bodies actually feels like when it's relaxed opposed to being stressed or tense. So, and you say it's, guided meditations are actually really great for high anxious children. And there's also, it clicks through to a script also as well that you've provided us with as well.
Yeah, sure. That's a progressive muscle relaxation, which I've also just recorded. So I am recording my own meditations at the moment as well.
Great.
Much to my horror, getting used to my own voice. But anyway, so the progressive muscle relaxation is all about like tensing up a part of your body and then relaxing. Because when we are in a state of high anxiety, we tense up some part of our body, we tense. And if you're used to living like that on a day-to-day basis, it can feel abnormal to relax. So our body tries to stop us from doing that.
Yeah.
Teaching young, especially, what their body feels like when it's tense, as opposed to what it feels like when it's relaxed, helps to just rewire the brain in that way.
Yeah. And you also speak about another thing as well, Mandala Coloring, which a lot of people love doing. And why have you put that as a suggestion in?
Okay, because I also work as a colour therapist, so colour means a lot to me as well. So Mandala Coloring is, it's just a way that you can get lost. So you put on some music, you sit down and you colour in, and you just get lost in your drawing. If you remember, for those of us who are old enough, when we used to have the phones that were attached to the wall, and we in the house with a mobile phone. As mums and women, we're always multitasking. So we're on a mobile phone and we're cleaning the toilet or making lunch or doing, something all over the place. But back then you had to sit on the phone that was attached to the wall, and you would doodle and you would scribble and you would colour in. And sometimes you would look back at that piece of paper and be amazed at what you'd written or drawn, or where did that come from, or what does that mean? Because you would be lost in that moment. And that's that same type of feeling.
Yeah, which you can get the books everywhere as well.
Yeah, they are everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can download them you can just print them off the website as well. You don't need to spend lots of money. You don't have to have really expensive colouring in textures or pencils, or just pinch the kids' pencils out of their pencil games and go for it.
So let's get stuck into so they're 3 examples of mindfulness exercises, and they're all in the article. So by all means, we've got the link at the bottom of this introduction paragraph. Let's get stuck into question number 3. You know, how can breathing exercises and breath work affect our stress levels?
Okay, simply, it lowers your heart rate and introduces more oxygen into the body. Okay, so when we are stressed, our heart rate increases, our heart beats quicker, and that in turn it gives itself to short, shallow breathing.
Yes.
Okay? So concentrating on your breath and just breathing slow and deep lowers the heart rate and lowers the stress levels.
Which is good overall. There's
very simple way of controlling your stress. And if you practice it regularly and just practice some conscious breathing regularly, when you start to get stressed, you'll be able to slip into that type of breathing a lot easier and a lot quicker.
Yeah,
it's no point waiting until you're having a panic attack, because once you're having a panic attack, you actually need to hold your breath rather than slow breathe.
Yes.
Okay, which a lot of people don't realize either. So because that's over breathing then when you're in a panic attack. So you need to actually hold your breath, which is a whole other area. But yeah. Yes, you need to hold your breath for 10 seconds. It's think back to when you used to breathe into a brown paper bag when you're having a panic attack. It's the same idea.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the start of the article, you speak about, and the fact that you could be in a situation, you could be going to a meeting at work, or you could be in any one of our situations in life. And same with a child, it could be high anxiety situation with school or what have you. And it's about, once again, to combining mindfulness and being in the moment, and then taking the time to breathe from our diaphragm and from our stomach. And like anything, of course, when we've got more oxygen that goes to our brain and everything else as well, our bodies feel differently, would you say?
Yes, definitely, 100%. And along with some other strategies like some positive thinking and staying in the moment with the mindfulness and doing the breath work all at once, it really does work wonders. Yeah. And for our kids, they don't like to look different. They don't like to stand out. And a lot of adults are like that too. But breath work is something you can do in the middle of the classroom and no one knows what you're doing. You're just breathing. Yep.
And how about with the high anxiety children that you work with? Can you give us some examples of some situations where you've seen the benefit in working with children and the outcome, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, there was one boy that I worked with who couldn't really leave the house for long periods of time, especially if he was going somewhere he hadn't been before. So if it was something new. So I know one particular day with him, Mum was able to take him into the city, which was a big event for him. Going on the train was exciting, but not knowing what was going to happen next, or sights, sounds, it can really play havoc with kids, especially with sensory issues as well. So he was breathing the whole way through it, mindfulness and breathing the whole way through the trip. And of course, Mum played a big part in that, because she had to remind him every minute or 2 minutes what to do, where they were going, what was happening, to breathe, to visualize what he wanted to happen next. And that's how it works.
Yeah. And let's get stuck into the next question, which I think we just jumped into my other screen. So question number 4, we've got, what are some examples of different breathing exercises? And once again, they're highlighted in the article.
Okay, so one really particular one that I wanted to talk about was a 1-minute meditation, which is what I teach my teens to use during exams. And it's something that adults can use during study and exams themselves as well, or in those board meetings, or in those places where you're just getting really upset. You can't leave. Yeah, you can't walk away. You can't shut your eyes and do anything else. So you have to look like you're alert. You have to look like you're there in the present moment. So it's simply breathing. So for about 1 minute, an adult will get 16 to 18 breaths. A younger child, maybe 25 breaths. Okay? And all you do is count your breaths. So you breathe in, count 1, breathe out. Breathe in, count 2, breathe out. And you do that for roughly 18 breaths. 25 breaths. And every time your mind starts to wander, you bring your thoughts back to your breath and you count. After that minute, you have slowed your heart rate down, you're feeling a lot calmer, and you can return to the task. So it's really handy. All my teens use it during exams because they can't leave. They can't change the situation. They're stuck in an exam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about younger children as well? You say even for younger children, do 3 counts of breathing. Is that right?
Yeah, so we do, there's another exercise called 4-count breathing or box breathing.
Yep.
So you breathe in for the count of 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for the count of 4, and then wait for 4. So you can see it has that 4 sides of a box.
Oh, that's for an adult, the four.
Yep, that's for all ages.
Okay, so how does that work? So you sort of
breathe, well, some people really like to have visualization, so they can visualize a box.
Yep.
So you breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4. You just keep going. And you do that 4 times.
Yep.
You repeat it 3 more times. Once you're used to that, and this goes for adults as well, they always start the adults with the 4 count as well, but once you're used to that and you're practicing your breathing and you're realizing that you're getting some benefit out of it, we extend the exhale because it's more beneficial to have that longer exhale than it is the inhale. Then we got to 4, 7, 8 eventually. So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8.
Okay. So the same thing for an adult in a box. You sort of visualize that.
That's where you start. Yep, that's the starting point.
Okay, great. And then, so you got the 1-minute meditation. So that could be for either adults or children. And that's just breathing in and out, as you've mentioned. Is that right? Yep.
And counting breaths for 1 minute.
Yep, for 1 minute. And the other ones are the box breathing that you've mentioned. So you can either do the 4-count breathing, or you can do the 4, 7, 8 breathing for adults. Is that right?
Yes, even with the adults, start off with 4 till you get used to it, until you start to see benefits and that mind clicks that, yes, this is working, and then we build up to 4, 7, 8.
4, 7, 8. And for younger children, you say to do 3 counts. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. Depending on the age of the child, so my little 4 and 5-year-olds with those tiny little lungs might only be able to hold their breath for 3. Breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 3, rather than doing 4.
Yeah.
Just judging the age a little bit.
Yeah. Well, look, you've given us incredible insights today through mindfulness, through breathing techniques. And like we said at the start, life is always going to throw us stressful challenges that we can't always control. We can definitely control our internal world, not the external always, but we can try. But as long as we can control our internal world, we're going to have a much better chance, I think, of being the best version of ourselves and just living a happy, healthy life. And I think definitely when we adopt these techniques on a day-to-day basis, they are going to make a difference for ourselves, our children, our family, our friends, and everybody that we know. And it's not a woo-woo subject. It's not one of those things that people go, oh, meditation, it's one of the you have crystals and chanting. It's not, as you said, about that. It's the fact that we can actually bring this into our daily lives, irrespective of what is actually happening, and just take a moment for ourselves. And I think it's just about being kind to ourselves also. It's something that doesn't cost anything. It is really just taking that moment. Would you say that's maybe something for us to consider?
Definitely. Yes, definitely. If you are in doubt, I can share some links with you on some studies that have been done, and make it part of your everyday self-care routine, because you can do it while you are doing other things. We like to multitask, and we can multitask with some of these meditations and breathwork exercises. So why not? It's free. It's not going to hurt you, and if anything, it's going to make you feel better. And it's a domino effect. It really, the way we act and the energy that we put out rubs off on our kids.
Yes. Well, and that was my last question, is just, I mean, as parents, carers and grandparents, we need to be able to be demonstrating by example to our children how to be able to live their life through and lead by example. But how do you find, so do you find the best way to actually teach our children is to lead by example and show them how we're doing this and to teach them, or how else do you maybe suggest that we teach our children these techniques?
Lead by example and do it with them.
Yeah.
So not only do it for them, demonstrate. Children will watch you before they will listen.
Yes.
Yeah. So walk your talk. You can't
Yes.
tell them to do something if you're not doing it yourself.
Which is going to make, you know, a happier household overall, I guess. So,
Definitely. Yes, definitely. Yes.
yeah. So thank you so much for your time today, Kim. And if anyone's got any other questions, whereabouts can they find you?
They can find me through the Kiddipedia under
Yep.
advice at Rainbow Light Therapies, or
Yep.
you can contact me through my website on www.rainbowlightterapies.com.au.
And for everybody else watching, we've got the link to the 2 articles at the bottom of the introduction paragraph, so definitely have a read of those. The tips are in there. Any other questions, by all means, reach out to Kim. But we're so grateful for your time today. Can't wait to catch up again.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, give my love to the kids, and we'll speak soon. Thanks again. Okay, bye.
Bye.